Namaskaram, I'm Jayashree Rajamani, and I am one of the 4 dancers featured in the upcoming film SREE. SREE is about 4 dancers with 4 very different styles of dance. And I am going to be representing the classical dance form of Bharatanatyam that comes from South India. My dance is a very ancient dance form and originated from the Hindu temples in South India. The season that I will be representing is winter. And being a winter baby, I just love that cool, crisp, brisk winter air and the beautiful snow that falls from the sky. I think it's just so beautiful and peaceful. So look out for me and the other dancers in the upcoming film SREE, dancing our way through the seasons.
Hi, Jayashree, how are you doing? It's wonderful to see you again. And especially in these troubled times, I know we were planning to meet in person.
I know, thanks Malika. Yeah, who would have thought that we'd be doing this virtually? This pandemic has, it's something that none of us had ever expected, and it really seems unreal many a time. I'm still having a hard time believing that we're all in shelter in place or stay at home orders, and kids have been home now for a month. But still, it's nice that technology is here and I can connect with you.
Awesome. And I wanted to do this interview actually one-on-one. And I know we'll be doing more of this, but when I heard about the US numbers and everywhere in the news, my first thought was with you because you are like my family, and what like you are my family, and we've known each other since childhood, and with the SREE film which brought us together. So tell me about Boston, what's going on?
Well, thankfully, myself, my immediate family, and the extended family, we're all doing well. That's the best news. We have family in New York and New Jersey and California, and thankfully everybody's healthy, which is good. Um, we do have family friends, some of them who have been affected by COVID-19. 2 of them ended up being hospitalized. One was on a ventilator. And luckily everyone's okay, at least the few that we know of who got sick. But it's like a ghost city, a ghost town. Everything is virtually dead. Libraries are closed, schools are closed. I've not been seeing my students live for the last 1 month. I've been doing only virtual classes. My husband refuses to let any of us go out to do any of the groceries. He's like, let me be the one. And then we have to spend time after doing groceries, sanitizing packages and washing all the vegetables and the fruits. And now our governor and of course the federal government is telling people to not even do grocery shopping if they can avoid it. So, we somehow got lucky and put in a bid for online delivery of groceries. But the earliest we're going to get it is in 2 weeks from now, which is crazy. So, I mean, under the circumstances, what I'll say is, for me personally, it's been strange. Thankfully, since nobody has gotten sick, and I pray that that's how it stays, it's just been a time to just reconnect with the family, do things together. We find that we're all enjoying each other, which is really nice. Otherwise you get so caught up in life. And this whole COVID has forced us to reconsider life, reconsider ourselves, reconnect with ourselves and each other as a family, and got to thank God that things are going okay for us.
Thanks for sharing those precious moments, and I'm sure all of us are going to. And as you said, the ghost town really, it's like as if coming out of a movie. So, in these trying times, as you are a mentor, and in the film also, you talk about mentorship. How do you see yourself interacting with your students? I know we'll be putting some glimpses of that, but in your own words, how do you?
So before all of this happened, before COVID hit the world, I was doing some virtual classes for some of my senior students. I only did it exclusively for senior students who, went away to college, far away, and wanted to still learn. So for me as a teacher, it was not an unknown territory. But once COVID hit and I had to start teaching classes with more than just one or two students, that's when the challenge came into my head. I was like, how do I do this? And of course, there are so many different platforms that one can use. I am using Zoom, and I guess I'm giving them a plug. But anyway, that's worked well for me and my student base. And it was exciting. My students were very happy to see me for the first class, and they don't like it if, not that I've canceled any of the virtual classes, but they're all there every week. They're happy to talk to me. What I've told them is, because, sometimes when you listen to the news and you see the numbers and you see the number of sick people, and you see how you yourself are kind of stuck in one place, you're afraid to step out of your home. I tell my students, thank God you have dance, in our case, or music, or whatever other art form you have, because you can use this time to really focus on that and practice. And I think my students are getting with less stress and less running around and, other activities. In terms of long distance learning in general, or virtual teaching and learning, it's a lot slower than if you were live with a student. The good news is with Zoom, I've not experienced any lag, video lag. Sometimes audio can be a problem, especially when we're playing music for dance. But the kids have been, I think, because they have a good relationship with me and they're used to my teaching style, I find that we've not had too many problems communicating. And again, everyone's connected through WhatsApp and FaceTime and email. So, if I feel like a certain student may not be getting a step, then I will videotape myself and send them the link, or, I'll videotape it live on Zoom and, share the link with them. Otherwise, I ask them to practice and then have their parents shoot a video of them and share it with me, so we can stay on top. So there's a lot more active learning outside of the regular class time. So, I have to be really thankful for virtual technology. Otherwise, 10 years ago, this would have been, we'd all be just sitting here twiddling our thumbs, right?
That's so true. And paying a lot of bills for the long distance, right?
Exactly.
Especially when there's a financial crunch and how it's affecting the financial market. And my next question is for your family. And I know you briefly mentioned about how everybody's coming together and kind of distributing all and the TikTok videos are very entertaining to see all the family moments. So can you share something about homeschooling? What do you think about that? I know your children are grown up, but I'm sure you're interacting with many other parents. And especially for those parents who are very concerned that their children are going towards high school, or coming out of high schools, going to universities. So how does the dynamics change in these troubled times?
I guess that's dependent family to family. You're right. My children are older. I have a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old, and they're a little bit more independent. I think families with younger children, for them, it's a lot more challenging because, the kids can't be left totally unsupervised. And if parents are working from home, that becomes a real problem for the parents. So, I don't know what advice I could really give them other than to say you need to have a schedule. But then when they're really tiny, you need someone to supervise, and that's a totally different ballgame. I can speak for our family. Both my son and daughter's schools have started virtual learning. For my son, it's a lot more formalized because he's having daily classes. He typically starts at around 8 a.m. and he's done by about 12:30. And then they have daily homework. He's in 10th grade. So obviously with high school, they want to be a little bit more cognizant of academic progression. For my daughter, for the first week that school was out, she had nothing coming from school. Because our public schools here in Lexington, they also have students come in through what's called a METCO program. So these are children who come from inner city, sort of not so well-to-do families. They come into the Lexington Public Schools, which is a very prestigious school district to be in the United States. And so, but many of them don't have access to laptop devices or internet even. So the public school had to think long and hard as to how to start the academic learning. So they only started a week ago, so last week. And it was more sort of a free-flowing thing. The teachers would post assignments on Monday, and the students would have the whole week to pick and choose per subject what assignment they wanted to do, because they'd be given choices. And then they just turn it in by the end of the week. For my daughter, she's been finishing it all on the Monday. And then she's like, what do I do now? But thankfully, she has her vocal music and dance and softball. So we're trying to keep them also physically engaged. And they just play in our yard or they do exercises at home. She also registered for some free online classes herself and tries to do about an hour a day every day, which is good. So, I mean, my kids are keeping occupied. We're definitely playing board games together as a family, as a way to reconnect. But again, it all depends on individual families and their needs and, how busy parents are and how needy children are, So what works for one family may not necessarily work for another one.
So do you have anything to tell about to your friends out there who are basically, especially your SREE friends? So I know you came to Canada, and we're looking forward to visiting Boston. So how do we all stay in it together? I think we should do this for each one of our dancers. What do you think about it?
Oh, well, I want to first of all wish all my fellow SREE dancers and crew, and of course you, the director, producer, I want to give you all my love and just say that all of you have touched me so deeply. Of course, Malika, you and I go back many years, so for us it's like a sisterhood from eons. But the rest of the team are people I met only once when I came to Toronto last spring. And to all of you, I mean, you just have warmed my heart. And I'm so thankful that we have so many different methods of staying in touch versus just the old phone, which was so unreliable 20 years ago, 30 years ago even. We have so many ways of staying in touch, and it's nice that we do connect, whether it's through Facebook or WhatsApp or emails. And of course now we have things like Zoom and stuff, which helps. So all I would say is we all have to keep our dance close to us and use that as a way to cleanse ourselves internally and also share it with others and keep people, keep everyone's spirits up. This pandemic, as horrible as it is in so many ways for so many people in the world, has also caused all of us to stop and think. And I think that's the most important thing for all of us to keep in mind. And as I said, for those of us who have art in our lives, wow, we are truly blessed, and we should all just keep at it and keep spreading it.
Wow. Thank you so much. Well said. Thanks for meeting up and spending this great time with us. And I guess we got to keep our viewers know about what's going on, keep sharing like this, and look forward for SREE moments to come. Thank you.
Being alone in a country where you don't have family and many friends, It wasn't easy. It took me a long time.
Thank you.
I think if it weren't for dance, I wouldn't have an outlet. I wouldn't have something that made me feel good about myself.
It's the reason because we are here in Canada and I love this country. I am Canadian. I'm proud to be Canadian, but my heritage is Serbian and I'm proud to be Serbian.
Never mind, I lost the house and the home and everything in it and friends. When I found Vlado on the street and we again connected to dance, I felt nothing was lost. Yes, we get stressed when we come as immigrants, but stick to what you love. At least 2% of your time put into that. Never give that up.
And you can take a close-up of